Now we're going to combine the last chapter where we're actually plotting these things with solving, but then we're also going to throw in brackets. So everything kind of comes together here. Now in these first few examples, I don't think there's any, there's no brackets in it. And then in the next set there is. But in both of these, I can just zoom out here. In both of these, there's going to be some graphing. We'll be graphing on the line. Well, let's look here at example 1. Solve and graph the following inequalities. So we have to do backwards BEDMAS, but sometimes there's things that need to happen first. For instance, we need to do, if I have enough room here, we need to do any like terms, and then we need to do any, get the axes on one side, and then we can do some sort of BEDMAS. S, A, is it bed, M-A, E. So that's what we need to do in this order. We need to start with like terms, then go to move the x, and then we can do backwards BEDMAS. So I'm going to leave that there for a moment. First thing I'm going to do is what I did do for all of these, is just kind of put my center line. Are there anything alike on the left and on the right? And the answer is no. Compare that to B, which we will do after. You can see there's a 7x and a 4x on the same side. But for us, on A, there is no like terms. So we can't do any L. Now we need to move the x, and that's moving the smaller x, so, or more negative. So we've got a 3x and a negative 3x. The negative 3x is the smaller one. So to move it, you do the opposite. So it's minus, so we're going to add 3x. And then negative 3x plus 3x cancels out. And I'll put a plus 3x over there. On the right here, this thing is gone. All we're left with is a 21. On the left, you have a 3x and a 3x, which adds up to a 6x minus 9. Now that we're done the L and the X, realizing we didn't have any like terms and we don't have any, and we now got rid of the X, we can now just do backwards BEDMAS. So in this case, you can get rid of the add or subtract first. So I'll get rid of the subtract by adding to both sides. So I have 6x, I have the symbol, and 21 and 9 is 30. And this is a 6 times x, so I can divide by 6. That's a 30 there. Divide by 6. And then those can be gone. So I'm left with just an x, the symbol, and a 5. Now it's worth writing down a sentence here. So I'd write down, do I have room? A little bit. So x is, and again, this is the most difficult part, x right here is on the opening, the large opening. So x is large or bigger or more. So x is larger than 5. So you can put larger, you can put more, anything like that, than 5. Oh, x is larger, more, or equal to 5. So that is our sentence that can go along with this. Now, I actually have to plot that. So I'm going to plot 0. Normally I plot 0 in the center, but I'm going to move 0 over a little bit here to make room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So x is equal to, so I'm going to do the 5. I'm going to fill in the dot, and it's larger, so I'm going to shade to the everything bigger. So that is my final answer. So I'll zoom out a bit here. All right, so B, we need to do the L and the X. So the L is like terms. Are there anything alike? Well, I said earlier 4x and negative 7x. That would give you a negative 3x and then a 12. Again, I like to write the x's first. And that's on the right side. On the left, it's just a 2x plus 7. And I wrote the symbol in between. After you did the like terms, you can now move the smaller x. The smaller x, or the more negative one, that's the negative 3. So we'll add 3 to get rid of it. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0, so those are gone. but we got to add it to the left as well. 2x and 3x is going to be 5x, and there's still a plus 7, and there's that symbol, and a 12. So now we did the like terms. That was our L, so we did the like terms, and then we moved over our x. So now we can actually work on the bed mass, but the backwards bed mass. So we can minus the 7, get rid of the add. 12 minus 7 will be 5. So I'm going to have to rewrite that again, obviously. So there's minus 7 and cross those out. 12 minus 7 is going to be 5. There's that symbol, and then we have a 5x. Now that says 5 times x, so I will divide by 5 to get rid of it. And I've got x is less than or equal to 5 over 5, which is 1. So, and I said it there a little too quickly. I need to write down what that is as a sentence. So x is on the smaller pointy side. So x is smaller or equal to 1. So that's because it's on the smaller side, or the smaller side of the x is on the smaller side of the inequality. And because it's equal to, I will fill in the dot at 1. There's actually not bad spacing there. Okay, and so I'm going to make 0 here, and here's 1. So it's equal to, so I'm going to fill in the dot. And it's x is smaller than, that means left, all the smaller than numbers, and that's all we have. So I wrote it as the inequality right there, then I wrote it in words, and then I did a drawing. Now we've got the next example. So we don't have any brackets to deal with, any like terms. Okay, so I see a 4 and a 15, that'll give me a 19. And I see a positive 2 and a positive 7, that will get me a 9. And I got that symbol. I've got a negative 3x still there, and I've got a negative 5x. Now there's no symbols here, but they are positive, so I'll put plus signs. And again, 19 is positive, so I'll put a plus sign. Now I'm going to want to move over the smaller or more negative x. Again, so I did the like terms one. So now I'm going to do the x, move over, get the x's together on one side. So the more negative one is this negative 5, so I'll add the 5. Negative 5 plus 5 cancels out, but I'll add it to this side. So, I didn't draw my line here. So I've got a 9 on the left. I've got that symbol. Ooh, I added an equal to symbol. That's not there. And then I've got a negative 3 and a plus 5. So 3 bad, 5 good. There's more good. There's 2 more, actually. And then we got the plus 19. Now that you've done the L and the X, the like terms, and getting the X's to one side, we can now do bed mass backwards. So we'll get rid of the plus 19 by minusing it. 9 minus 19 is going to be negative 10. And there's that symbol. And a 2x. And then we will divide by 2 and divide by 2 because that's being timesed. So now I can cancel those out. So I get x and that symbol and negative 5. So now I need to know how to read that symbol, which is maybe the most difficult part. So x is on the small pointy side. So I'm going to say x is smaller. Is it equal to? No, there's no line. So x is smaller than negative 5. So I guess I'm going to have to draw negative 5 somewhere. So I'm going to put 0 actually, probably all the way over here. So I can do negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. So I want these things to fit. And it's smaller than, so there's negative 5, and it's not equal to. Smaller than is left, and not equal to would be an open circle. And so there we have it. I'll just zoom out so you can take a look at all of these and make any notes that you might need. Remember backwards BEDMAS, but only after you've done like terms and getting the x's over on one side. We will do brackets in the next example.